If you consider yourself to be a liberal Democrat and you are okay with what is going on with the Q-Anon Shaman,
you may not be as liberal or as democratic as you think you are.
Viva Frei, Montreal litigator turned YouTuber, and this is Winnie the Westie, who is not yet ready for his nap because we're shooting this video early because I saw this story
And I am angry.
Some of you may or may not be aware that the so-called Q-Anon Shaman, whose real name is Jacob Chansley, who was arrested for having stormed the Capitol Hill. He was the guy wearing something of an animal hat, carrying a spear with the American flag on it. There's an infamous picture of him on the internet. He was arrested after those events, and he is still being detained 6 months later. Let that sink in. He has been detained for over 6 months for those events without bail, and his request for bail was just denied by a federal judge. Q-Anon Shaman has release denied by judge. The judge stated that Chansley posed a flight risk. Chansley, also known as Jake and Jelly, was captured in photos and videos storming the US Capitol on Jan 6 wearing a horned bearskin headdress and face paint. Judge Royce Lamberth said Chansley did not present any new information that had a, quote, material bearing, end quote, on whether conditions of his release would assure he doesn't flee. Lamberth had ordered Chansley in March to be held while awaiting trial on 6 federal charges relating to the insurrection, the Arizona Republic reported. First things first, because we always have to go through this exercise knowing how the judicial system has become highly politicized, we have to go look at the judge to see who appointed this judge, and in this particular case, it might surprise some. Royce Charles Lamberth, born July 16, 1943, is a senior judge of the United States District Court for the District of Columbia, who formerly served as its chief judge. Okay, so we get it. Judge Lamberth is old.
She's old. She's too old.
But he is old, so maybe applying different standards as to what qualifies one as a flight risk. But age aside, who appointed this judge? Lamberth was nominated by President Ronald Reagan on March 19, 1987 to the seat on the United States District Court for the District of Columbia, vacated by Judge Barrington D. Parker. He was confirmed by the United States Senate on November 13, 1987, and commissioned on November 16, 1987. Commissioned is such a weird way of describing it. It's like the judge is an aircraft carrier or something. But bottom line, he was appointed by Ronald Reagan, so people out there can say, look, this is a Republican judge imposing this penalty. That's how objective this judge is. I don't care who appointed this judge. What the judge is doing is cruel and unusual punishment
that goes against the Constitution of America.
And in case any of you out there have forgotten what the 8th Amendment to the United States Constitution says, let me read it to you to refresh your memories. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. That is what the United States Constitution itself says, and there can be no bail more excessive than no bail. And when you see the justification that the judge is offering to deny bail to Chansley, you are going to realize that it has nothing to do with justice. It is purely punitive. The judge stated that Chansley posed a flight risk because he showed an ability to travel across the country, even though he didn't have a job.
That doesn't make sense.
Chansley poses a sufficient flight risk that could justify denying bail because he showed the ability to travel across the country without having a job. My goodness, I guess this judge has never heard of hitchhikers. I guess this judge has never seen the movie The Straight Story, where a guy traveled across the country on his lawnmower. Now, I might just be a lowly Canadian lawyer ranting at the world from the front seat of his Subaru, but something tells me that under the law, the flight risk that is required in order to justify not granting bail has to be a little more serious, and the charges the individual facing has to be a little more serious as well. Chansley's lawyer, Albert Watkins, had argued that many of his clients' relatives lived in the Phoenix, Arizona area and would provide an extensive support system, according to the paper. But Lamberth said those family ties failed to ease his worries about Chansley's ability to travel. Quote, as Chansley's family connections have not prevented him from traveling undetected in the past, the court is unpersuaded that they will prevent him from doing so again in the future, end quote, Lamberth wrote. Chansley, 33, was arrested just 3 days after the Capitol riot, and he unsuccessfully sought a pardon from then-President Donald Trump. And if you can believe it, Chansley's detention actually gets even more egregious. He was sent to a Colorado facility last month to undergo a court-ordered screening to see if he was mentally fit for trial, the Republic reported. Lamberth noted that Chansley carried a spear and was among the wave of rioters during the Capitol breach. He carried a spear when he stormed the Capitol Hill because everybody knows that when you are engaging in an insurrection against the most heavily armed police force on earth, a spear is the weapon of choice. But the fact that he carried a spear is is in fact going to play into at least one of the charges that he faces, and when I say that the charges that he faces are not sufficiently serious to warrant 6 months of detention without bail, people don't even know the charges that he is facing. Let's just go through the charges in his indictment. United States District Court for the District of Columbia, United States of America versus Jacob Anthony Chansley, also known as, quote, Jacob Angeli, end quote, defendant. Indictment. Count 1. Civil disorder in violation of Title 18 United States Code Section 231A3. Count 2. Obstruction of an official proceeding in violation of Title 18 United States Code Section 1512C2. Count 3. Entering and remaining in a restricted building in violation of Title 18 United States Code Section 1752A1. Count 4. Disorderly and disruptive conduct in a restricted building in violation of Title 18 United States Code Section 1752A2. Count 5. Violent entry and disorderly conduct in a Capitol building in violation of Title 40 United States Code Section 5104E2A. And count 6. Parading, demonstrating, or picketing in a Capitol building in violation of Title 40 United States Code Section 5104E2G. Politicians and people in the media, probably because they're working in tandem, like to throw around the word insurrection a lot, or if you're Chuck Schumer, you like to throw around the word inciting the erection a lot.
Donald John Trump incited the erection.
What did you say?
But they like throwing around the word insurrection a lot, and people tend to repeat this word without actually looking at the charges some of these individuals are facing. Now, the charges Chansley is facing are in fact serious. Some of them carry potential prison time of 5 to 20 years, and at least one of them is aggravated by the factor of having done so with a weapon, which I suspect is why the judge is reminding everyone of the spear that Chansley was carrying, because that will be the aggravating factor in condemning him and sentencing him under that particular infraction. But the idea that one or even all of these charges that have been brought against Chansley could possibly warrant his continued detention and being sent for psychiatric evaluation is over the top, it is unconstitutional, it is pure, cruel, and unusual punishment. And anyone who considers themselves to be a lefty Democrat and is not shocked and appalled by what is going on
is not as lefty or democratic as they might think they are.
And in the meantime, Chansley remains locked up in jail while, if we are looking at the two-tiered political judicial system, that we have other people are being released for infractions that are exponentially worse than what this individual committed. Alright, I actually should have said infractions that this individual allegedly committed, because we are all sort of losing track of the underlying principle of the criminal justice system, and that is innocent until proven guilty. Chansley faces some serious charges. Some people might think those charges are exaggerated, politically motivated, but he nonetheless faces some serious criminal charges. He has not been found guilty of anything yet. He has not had his day in court. The prosecution has not yet proven his guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, and yet he has been detained for nearly 6 months now, only on the mere fact that he is facing charges, and the judge has denied his bail, denied his freedom, pending the prosecution proving his guilt beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. He has been detained for up to 6 months now in the interim. If anybody doesn't find that shocking, we have different moral and legal standards through which we view the world. Back to the video. Ow. This is no longer about justice, this is about political retribution, and it is purely punitive, and everyone should be shocked and appalled by what is going on. And with that said, if you like my videos, you like my content, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and drop a comment in the comment section below, because it feeds the algorithm.
Feed me all night long.
Support links are in the pinned comment. Robert Barnes and I do weekly streams every Sunday. We do weekly streams with a guest every Wednesday called The Sidebar. You can also find us and support us on Locals if you are so inclined at
VivaBarnesLaw.locals.com.
My content is also on Rumble, so you can find it there, but more important than anything, take care of yourselves, check in on friends and family, make sure everyone around you is doing well, and now you know your vlog. Peace out.